Is intimacy something you feel is slipping away as the years pass? Do you sometimes look back and think about things you wish you'd understood better, perhaps when you were younger or even just a few years ago, regarding this very private and often unspoken part of life? It's a painful reality for many men as they get older. The connection and closeness they once took for granted might feel different, harder to access, or even like a part of their past. There's often a silence around this topic, a feeling that maybe it's just how things are as you age, and that can leave men feeling isolated, frustrated, or resigned. But what if there were certain insights, simple yet profound, that older men who've navigated these waters successfully understand? Life lessons, if you will, about maintaining that vital connection and well-being, things they wish they'd known much sooner. These aren't quick fixes or magic pills, but deeper truths about what really matters. In this video, we're going to explore 5 such secrets or life lessons, shared from the perspective of those who have lived and learned, things older men often realize with the wisdom of hindsight that can make a world of difference. These are lessons about connection, health, mindset, and truly understanding what intimacy means as you age. Stick around to the very end because there's something that might genuinely surprise you, a realization that can shift everything. Let's begin with the first profound lesson, something that might seem obvious on the surface but holds a depth that many only truly grasp much later in life. The absolute, non-negotiable power of open and honest communication. You see, for many generations, men were often taught to be strong, silent providers. Emotions, vulnerabilities, and especially discussions around intimate matters were often considered private to the point of being taboo, something not discussed openly, not even always with a partner. This creates a silent wall, an unspoken barrier that can become incredibly detrimental over time, particularly as the dynamics of a relationship and physical capabilities naturally evolve with age. When we're younger, maybe things feel easier, more instinctive, and less communication is required because things are perhaps more straightforward physically. But as we age, bodies change, desires might shift, and what felt natural before might require more intention, more understanding, and critically, more talking. Men who have found lasting intimacy and connection into their later years almost universally point to communication as the bedrock. They learned, perhaps through trial and error, that assuming your partner knows what you're thinking or feeling, or assuming you know what they need or want, is a recipe for misunderstanding and distance. Think about it. How often do we feel awkward or embarrassed to talk about our needs, our fears, or even our desires, especially as they relate to intimacy in later life? There might be concerns about performance, body image, changes in energy levels, or simply wanting to explore different ways of being close. If these things aren't spoken aloud, they fester. Your partner might misinterpret your silence or withdrawal, leading to hurt feelings or their own assumptions. You might feel isolated in your worries. Open communication isn't just about discussing physical acts. It's about sharing your emotional landscape. It's about saying, "I love being close to you," or "I've been feeling a bit worried about," or "Could we try?" It requires courage, yes, but it builds a bridge of understanding. Older men who understand this secret emphasize that it's a skill that gets better with practice. It starts with listening, truly listening to your partner without interrupting, without judgment, just seeking to understand their perspective. Then it's about expressing yourself honestly but kindly, using I statements like "I feel" rather than "you always." They also learned that timing and setting matter. Trying to have a deep conversation about intimacy when one person is tired, stressed, or distracted isn't likely to go well. Choosing a calm, relaxed moment, perhaps while holding hands or just sitting together, can make it feel less confrontational and more like a shared effort to stay connected. This kind of communication also extends to difficult conversations. Changes in health can significantly impact intimacy. Conditions like heart disease, diabetes, prostate issues, or even side effects from medications can affect function and desire. Men who navigate this successfully are open with their partners about these challenges and, importantly, open with their doctors. They don't try to hide issues or pretend everything is fine. They learned that involving their partner and their healthcare provider in these discussions is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength and a commitment to finding solutions together. Discussing health concerns related to intimacy with a doctor is crucial, and older men often regret not doing it sooner, either out of embarrassment or resignation. A doctor can offer advice, treatment options, or connect you with specialists. And bringing your partner into that conversation, even if it's just explaining what the doctor said, keeps that line of communication open and reinforces that you are a team facing challenges together. Furthermore, communication isn't just about solving problems, it's about deepening connection. It's about expressing appreciation, sharing vulnerabilities, laughing together, and maintaining emotional intimacy, which often becomes even more important than physical intimacy as years go by. Men who thrive in their later years learned that saying, "I love you," offering a compliment, or simply asking, "How are you really doing?" contributes immeasurably to the foundation upon which physical intimacy rests. Without this strong emotional connection built through consistent, open communication, physical intimacy can feel hollow or forced. With it, even facing physical challenges becomes a shared experience, approached with understanding and affection, rather than frustration and distance. It's this realization that the most important sex secret is actually about talking and listening, that many older men wish they had truly embodied much earlier in their relationships. It transforms intimacy from something purely physical into a holistic expression of love, trust, and partnership that can continue to grow and adapt throughout life. Following on from the vital importance of communication, the second secret, a lesson repeatedly learned and valued by older men looking back, is this: your intimate well-being is inextricably linked to your overall physical health. This isn't just about specific plumbing working correctly. It's a much broader, more fundamental truth. As men age, they often face new health challenges, managing blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, weight, and dealing with conditions like arthritis or sleep apnea. What many older men realize later is just how much these seemingly separate health issues impact their energy levels, their mood, their self-esteem, and ultimately, their ability and desire for intimacy. They often reflect on years where they perhaps neglected their health, thinking it would only catch up with them in terms of major illness, not fully appreciating its daily profound effect on their vitality and capacity for closeness. The men who maintain a fulfilling intimate life into their later years are those who actively prioritize their general health. They learned that you can't divorce your sexual health from your overall health. It's all part of the same system. Taking care of your body isn't just about living longer, it's about living better, with more energy and enthusiasm for all aspects of life, including intimacy. This means paying attention to diet. Eating a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains provides the body with the nutrients it needs for optimal function. Men who adopted healthier eating habits later in life often noticed improvements not just in their waistline or cholesterol, but also in their energy and libido. Reducing processed foods, sugary drinks, and excessive saturated fats can improve circulation, and good circulation is absolutely vital for sexual function. They learned that simple changes, like adding more leafy greens or switching to healthier protein sources, weren't about deprivation, but about empowerment, fueling their body for life's pleasures. Regular physical activity is another critical component. You don't need to run marathons, but consistent movement makes a massive difference. Walking, swimming, gardening, gentle strength training, these activities improve cardiovascular health, boost mood, manage weight, and increase energy levels. Many older men share that they were surprised by how much simply moving more improved their desire and confidence. Exercise also helps manage stress, which can be a huge dampener on intimacy. They learned that fitting in even 30 minutes of moderate activity most days wasn't a luxury, but a necessity for maintaining vitality. It's about keeping the engine running smoothly, and that includes the parts involved in intimacy. Sleep is another area often overlooked. Chronic sleep deprivation affects hormone levels, mood, and energy, all factors that influence intimacy. Older men who finally prioritized getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep found that it wasn't just their days that improved, but their nights too. They learned that establishing a regular sleep schedule and creating a relaxing bedtime routine paid dividends in unexpected ways, including their interest in and capacity for physical closeness. Managing chronic conditions is also paramount. Ignoring or poorly managing conditions like diabetes or heart disease has well-documented negative impacts on sexual health. Older men who took their medications as prescribed, attended their doctor's appointments, and actively participated in managing their health conditions were far more likely to maintain a satisfying, intimate life. They learned that proactive health management wasn't a burden, but an investment in their overall well-being and their relationship. Many also discovered the importance of stress management. Life doesn't necessarily get less stressful as you age. There can be concerns about finances, family, health of loved ones, and dealing with loss. Chronic stress floods the body with hormones that can suppress libido and affect function. Older men who found healthy ways to manage stress, through hobbies, mindfulness, spending time in nature, or talking with friends or a therapist, noticed a positive impact on their desire for intimacy. They learned that taking time for themselves, to relax and de-stress, wasn't selfish, but essential for maintaining their capacity for connection with their partner. This second secret, the profound connection between taking care of your physical health and nurturing your intimate well-being, is a powerful realization that many older men wish they had internalized and acted upon much, much sooner in their lives. It's a holistic approach, recognizing that true vitality, including intimate vitality, stems from a foundation of overall wellness. Moving into the third vital lesson, one that shifts from the physical to the mental and emotional realm, is the understanding that mindset matters profoundly when it comes to intimacy as you age. Many older men admit they struggled with internal beliefs and societal expectations that sometimes suggest intimacy is something primarily for the young, or that changes in physical function mean the end of a fulfilling intimate life. They carried anxieties about performance, perhaps comparing themselves to their younger selves or to unrealistic ideals, leading to pressure, fear of failure, and ultimately, avoidance. The older men who have found enduring satisfaction in their intimate lives learn to challenge these limiting beliefs and cultivate a more positive and adaptable mindset. They realized that the greatest barrier wasn't always physical. Often, it was in their own heads. Ageism isn't just something imposed by society. It can be internalized. Men might start to think, "I'm too old for this," or "My body isn't what it used to be, so why bother?" These thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. They sap confidence and create psychological distance. The secret here is recognizing these negative thoughts and actively choosing to reframe them. It's about accepting that change is a natural part of aging, but that change doesn't have to mean the end of intimacy. It means finding new ways to be close, new ways to experience pleasure, and focusing on connection rather than just specific physical acts. Older men who successfully navigated this shift learn to focus on what is possible rather than dwelling on what might be more challenging than it once was. They embraced a mindset of exploration and adaptability. This positive mindset also involves self-acceptance and body image. As bodies change, perhaps gaining weight, noticing wrinkles, or dealing with physical limitations, it's easy for self-esteem to take a hit. Men who maintain intimacy learned that their worth and attractiveness aren't solely tied to youthful appearances or physical prowess. They learn to appreciate their bodies for the life they have lived and to focus on the qualities that truly matter in intimacy: connection, affection, humor, shared history, and mutual pleasure in whatever form it takes. They realized that their partner's love and desire for them wasn't necessarily dependent on them looking or performing exactly as they did decades ago. This acceptance is liberating and allows for a more relaxed, present, and enjoyable intimate experience. Another aspect of mindset is letting go of performance anxiety. The pressure to perform can be immense at any age, but it can become particularly stressful if there are physical challenges. Older men who found freedom in their intimate lives learned to shift their focus from performance to pleasure and connection. It's not about achieving a certain outcome. It's about the shared experience of being close, giving and receiving pleasure, and reinforcing the bond with their partner. This might involve exploring different forms of touch, focusing on foreplay, using lubricants, or simply cuddling and being affectionate without any expectation of anything more. They realized that intimacy is a broad spectrum, and physical connection can take many forms that are deeply satisfying and enhance the relationship. Letting go of the pressure to perform allows for more spontaneity and genuine enjoyment. It's a profound shift from a goal-oriented approach to a connection-oriented one. Furthermore, maintaining a curious and open mind is part of this secret. Older men who thrive intimately are often willing to learn and explore. They might read books, look for reliable information online, or even talk to their doctor about options or challenges. They don't assume they know everything or that there's nothing new to learn. they remain open to trying different things, whether that's a new type of touch, a different time of day for intimacy, or incorporating aids or treatments if necessary. This openness keeps things interesting and demonstrates a willingness to put effort into the relationship and their shared intimate life. This third secret, cultivating a resilient, positive, adaptable, and open mindset, is a powerful tool that many older men wish they had honed much earlier, recognizing its profound impact on their confidence and the quality of their intimate connections. It's about believing that intimacy is a lifelong journey, not just a phase limited by age or physical change. Continuing with the wisdom gleaned over years, the fourth key secret that older men often emphasize is the profound value of adaptability and exploration in the face of physical changes. It's undeniable that the body changes with age. Energy levels might be different, flexibility can decrease, and conditions like erectile dysfunction or low libido might become factors. For men who hold on to a rigid definition of intimacy based solely on how things were in their 20s or 30s, these changes can feel like insurmountable barriers, leading to frustration and avoidance. However, the men who maintain a vibrant, intimate connection learned that these changes are not an ending, but an invitation to adapt, to explore new possibilities, and to redefine what intimacy means to them and their partner. This adaptability begins with acceptance. It's about acknowledging the physical realities of aging without letting them dictate the entire picture. It's understanding that while certain aspects might be different, the capacity for closeness, pleasure, and connection remains. This acceptance frees men from the pressure of trying to replicate their youth and opens the door to exploring the rich landscape of intimacy available in later life. Exploration is key here. Older men who enjoy fulfilling intimate lives didn't just give up when faced with challenges, they got curious. They might have found that certain positions are more comfortable, that foreplay becomes even more central and enjoyable, or that focusing on different forms of touch, massage, cuddling, caressing, becomes incredibly powerful and satisfying in itself. They learned that pleasure is not limited to one type of act, and that focusing on mutual pleasure and connection can be incredibly rewarding. They might have explored the use of lubricants, which can significantly enhance comfort and pleasure, as natural lubrication can change with age for both men and women. They might have looked into assistive devices or aids designed to help with physical limitations. They learned that there is no shame in using tools or techniques that enhance the experience and make intimacy more comfortable and enjoyable for both partners. It's about practical problem solving rather than giving up. This exploration also extends to timing. Perhaps evening intimacy is less feasible due to fatigue. Men who are adaptable might find that morning or afternoon intimacy works better, when energy levels are higher. They learn that flexibility and a willingness to experiment with timing and setting can make a big difference. Furthermore, this secret is about being creative and open to expanding the definition of intimacy beyond just sexual intercourse. It's about understanding that holding hands, kissing, cuddling on the sofa, giving each other massages, taking a bath together, or simply spending quality time where physical closeness is a natural part of the interaction, all contribute significantly to the intimate bond. Older men who embrace this broader view find that their relationship remains rich with affection and physical connection, even if the nature or frequency of sexual intercourse changes. They learned that these other forms of physical affection are not lesser forms of intimacy, but essential threads in the tapestry of a loving relationship. Finally, this adaptability involves discussing these explorations with your partner, linking back to the first secret of communication. Trying new things works best when both partners are involved, enthusiastic, and willing to experiment together. It becomes a shared adventure rather than one person trying to solve a problem alone. Older men who wish they'd known this secret sooner often talk about the years they might have spent feeling frustrated or withdrawing, simply because they hadn't considered adapting or exploring alternative ways to be intimate. They learned that being proactive, creative, and open to redefining intimacy allowed them to maintain a close and pleasurable connection with their partner for many more years, proving that intimacy can be a source of joy and connection throughout life, regardless of age or physical change. It's about embracing the journey and discovering new landscapes of connection together. Now, drawing all these threads together, the fifth and perhaps most profound secret, a culmination of the previous lessons, is the realization that true intimate fulfillment in later life is deeply intertwined with nurturing the overall connection and shared purpose within the relationship. Many older men looking back understand that focusing too narrowly on physical function or performance missed the bigger picture of what makes intimacy truly meaningful over decades. They learned that while physical closeness is important, it thrives within a relationship built on deep emotional connection, mutual support, shared interests, and a sense of being a team navigating life together. The men who maintain the most satisfying intimate lives into old age are often those whose relationships are rich in these non-physical aspects. They didn't just focus on keeping the spark alive in the bedroom, they focused on keeping the fire burning in the relationship as a whole. This means prioritizing emotional intimacy just as much as physical intimacy. Emotional intimacy involves feeling safe to be vulnerable with your partner, sharing your deepest thoughts and feelings, offering and receiving empathy, and feeling truly seen and understood. Older men who experienced this level of connection spoke about how it deepened their bond in ways they hadn't anticipated when they were younger. This emotional closeness creates a foundation of trust and affection that makes physical intimacy more meaningful and resilient in the face of challenges. When you feel deeply connected emotionally, physical touch and closeness naturally become an expression of that deeper bond, rather than a standalone act. They learned that investing time and effort in nurturing this emotional connection was paramount. Shared purpose and shared experiences also play a huge role. Couples who continue to grow together explore new hobbies, pursue common goals, travel, or simply enjoy spending quality time doing things they both love. Build a powerful connection that nourishes all aspects of their relationship, including the intimate one. Older men realized that the vitality of their relationship outside the bedroom directly fueled the vitality within it. When you share laughter, challenges, and triumphs, it creates a sense of partnership and closeness that translates into feeling more connected and desired. They learned that being interesting people with lives outside the relationship, yet shared experiences within it, kept the spark alive. Furthermore, this secret is about mutual support. Life in later years can bring its share of challenges, including health issues, loss of friends or family, or navigating retirement. Being a source of strength, comfort, and support for each other during these times deepens the bond immeasurably. Knowing that your partner is there for you and being there for them creates a level of trust and security that is fundamental to feeling safe and desired within the intimate sphere. Older men who experienced this level of mutual support found that it strengthened their connection in ways that physical intimacy alone never could. They learned that being a loving, supportive partner was one of the most attractive qualities they could offer. Ultimately, this fifth secret is about seeing intimacy not as a performance or a physical need to be met, but as an expression of the entire relationship. The shared history, the mutual love, the emotional bond, the partnership, the friendship, and the continued journey together. Older men who wished they had grasped this earlier often focus too much on the physical aspects and not enough on the broader relational context. They learned that nurturing the entire garden of the relationship leads to the most beautiful flowers of intimacy blooming throughout life. It's a holistic understanding that intimate well-being is a reflection of the overall health and vitality of the partnership itself. So, thinking back on these 5 lessons, the indispensable power of open communication, the vital link between overall physical health and intimate well-being, the profound impact of cultivating a positive and adaptable mindset, the necessity of embracing change through adaptability and exploration, and the deep connection between intimate fulfillment and nurturing the entire relationship. You can see how they build upon one another. They are not isolated tips, but interconnected truths about living a full, connected life at any age. Remember, small changes, perhaps starting with just one of these areas, can make a big difference to your health, your happiness, and your connection with your partner. It's never too late to learn, to adapt, and to enrich your relationships. We've covered some deeply personal territory, and I'd love to hear your thoughts or experiences. Have any of these lessons resonated with you? Are there other insights you've gained over the years that you wish you knew sooner? Please share them in the comments below. Your wisdom could help someone else. If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, please give it a like so others can find it. And if you want more insights on living your best life as you get older, full of vitality, connection, and purpose, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, Age brings wisdom and opportunities for deeper connection. Live your best life at every age.